Hi, good morning. My name is Mohammad Anas. Our group number is 29, and today we are going to make a presentation under the module International Leadership by taking two reputable leaders and applying the Peters Northaus leadership theories and practices on their leadership styles. So we can move on to the next slides. So our group is number 29, and our group members are Arshad Ayapalli, Ali Asser, and Abdul Rashid Nayatur. I'm welcoming them all to the presentation. We can move on to the next slide. So this is a table of contents that we are comparing the leaders through the theoretical and the approaches of their leadership styles till the conclusion. So we can directly move on to the introduction part. As we said, the leadership today is not just about authority, it's about influence across borders, cultures, and systems. In this presentation, I will explore how two remarkable women like Indra Nooyi and Draupadi Murmu demonstrate effective leadership through different approaches. So that we will be drawing from the theory and approaches from our lectures and from the Peters Northaus theories and practices. So here in this 20 minutes presentation, we will apply at least two leadership theories to each leader and drawing exclusively from the modules covered models. And also we analyze the both leaders and their leadership styles and evaluate those with the theories and support and explain effectiveness and while highlighting the limitations. So we can start that one. We can move to next slide. Here we can see Indra Nooyi. Indra Nooyi is one of the most globally respected business leaders as a CEO of a former CEO of Pepsi company, as we all know. And we have her background. She's an Indian born and have a MBA graduation and known for integrating global strategy with strong ethical and sustainability values. And she transformed the company's direction with her performance with purpose vision, focusing not only to profits but also on people's and the planet. And her leadership journey shaped both her Indian roots and her experience in a highly competitive global business environment. And what makes her leadership especially interesting is how she combines strategic intelligence with deep human empathy, a perfect case to explore. So we use a skills model and charismatic transformation models to her leadership style, so we can have more analysis about her leadership style. So we have a brief introduction on this slide about her. So we can move on to the next slide. So here also we can see that the timeline of Indra Nooyi. So the birth, and she got a graduation on 1974 and she joined Pepsi company on 1996, and she became the CEO of the company on 2006 to 2019. So we had the timeline of Indra Nooyi. So we can move directly to the application of leadership theories to the leadership styles of Indra Nooyi. So we choose a skills models theory and charismatic transformation theory. First of all, we are going to analyze the skills models theory on her leadership style. So what is a skills model theory? So according to Peter Northaus skills model, effective leaders are not just born, they build such skills, some skills like technical skill, human skill, conceptual skills, and they integrate it with the individual attributes like personality, motivation, and cognitive ability, and also the career experience will also help for that. So that's called skills model theory, and we are going to apply that for the leadership style of Indra Nooyi. So while we coming to the technical skills, her good experience and expert in the finance and market analysis help Pepsi company and individually by her to develop the company into a big growth and to spread globally, and also the product diversification into healthier foods and sustainable packaging. And while we coming to the human skills, her exceptional emotional intelligence promoted inclusivity in the organization. Uh, Not just like for an example, he wrote letters to the employees and families to build high trust and relationship across the cultures. So her one-to-one one-to-one relation with the employees helped her to shows her human skills. And we come to the conceptual skills, it is the most important one. While we come to the conceptual skills, her visionary framework by making a performance with purpose attitude, so it helped the Pepsi company to drive multinational, and also she maintained the profitability along with the sustainability because of this conceptual thinking. So we can say she also have the good ability to have a conceptual thinking. And also, while we coming to the individual attributes, her individual attributes like personality or cognitive agility or self-motivation allowed her to navigate complex global markets and stakeholders' expectations. She improved and she grown to meet the expectations of the markets and the stakeholders and her employees through all the skills that she acquired from her individual attributes and the skills that she made through her career. So we can say this theory aligns with her leadership style. So we have a critical analysis of this theory on the next slide. So here we can see that the skills model doesn't fully capture how global politics, shareholder pressure, or culture complexities shape leadership. Yet it offers a solid foundation for understanding Nui's leadership as competency-driven and adaptive styles of her. So we can say there is limitations lies in underestimation of structural power relations and cultural variables and influencing decision making in multinational organization. Also, NUI integrated use of technical expertise and human connection and conceptual vision to the model. It shows a practical relevance to modern ethical and cross-cultural leadership offer. So we can move on to the next part. It's we are going to apply the charismatic and transformational leadership on her leadership style. So what is transformational leadership? According to Northaus, the transformational leadership is about inspiring followers to achieve more than they thought that is possible. So it is the transformational leadership, and through idealized influence, inspirational motivations, and intellectual stimulations and individualized consideration, we can acquire or we can develop the transformational leadership styles, or we can check whether the style of the leader is transformational or not. So while we coming to the Nui, it exemplifies that this model through her charisma, empathy, and vision, her concept of performance with purpose that we told above also was not just a slogan. It reshaped Pepsi company's identity and motivated employees worldwide. So through that one, she balanced inspiration with accountability and demonstrating the leadership driven by moral purpose can also drive profitability. That means only she stick with the moral values, but along with the moral values, she driven the company into the profitability style. So it shows that she's a transformational leader according to our studies. And also when we come to the intellectual stimulations, her intellectual stimulations fostered a culture of innovation, encouraged teams to develop healthier products and adopt eco-friendly technologies. And also the individualized consideration, as we considered above also, that prioritized mentorship and inclusion. It helped her to build relationship with the employees and the stakeholders and the customers. So it helped her growth and along with the company organization's growth. So we can say she is a charismatic and transformational leader as well. So we can move on to the critical evaluation of this part. So still, scholars warn that the charismatic leadership can overemphasize the individual. Nui avoided this by embedding her transformational values into the company's long-term strategy and ensuring sustainability beyond her tenure. So we can say that the transformational leadership can risk over reliance on the leaders' personal leaders mainly. So she understood that the personal long-term success was not. Her personal long-term success was depend on the institutionalizing her values into the corporate culture. So she implemented that so that she can also get into the success along with the company. And also Nui achieved this by like sustainability and inclusivity into Pepsi company's strategic transformation, and she not concentrated on her individual. So these are the two theories that we applied on the leadership styles of Indra Nooyi. So we can move on to the next part. The next part, we taking the another leader. So my group member Arshad Aibali will present that one. I'm welcoming. Thank you.
Thank you, my friend Anas. I directly go to my slide. This is the Draupadi Murmu, the President of India. The Draupadi Murmu is the leadership journey is deeply rooted in humility and services. You know the background of the Draupadi Murmu from the Sandal tribal community in Odisha is the leadership context advocates for education, women's employment, and sustainable rural development. Operates is an constitutional and symbolic role but wield significant moral authority. Her leadership reputation, her recognized for her adaptive, empathic, and the service-oriented leadership style embodies the principle of even leadership by balancing authority with humanity. She positions the former governor of the Jharkhand and long-time public servant, the current president of India. She broke multiple barriers from become India's head of state. Her leadership is not about the dominance but about the good influence. She adapts her style to the context, respect the institutional norms, and connect authentically with the diverse groups. These qualities make her an ideal example to analyze through the situational leadership model, which highlights adaptability, and the leader-member exchange theory, which focus on the quality of relationship between leaders and followers. And I go to my next slide. This is the timeline of the Draupadi Murmu. It will showing the whole detail of the Draupadi Murmu is the what early life and education, what is the political, legislative and career, and the vice regal presidential roles. Everything it will showing the timelines. We can understand from this. Then I go to my next slide. This is the application of leadership theories. The situational leadership is about adjusting your style to what followers and the situation demand. There is the theories that's directive and the supportive. It will all the directive coaching, supporting, and delegating. It's all integrating. That's the adaptive leadership, the adjusting communication and decision style to suit context from the grassroots, the governments to the national representation. The direct style. As Jharkhand governor ensured the constitutional compliance during political crisis with the maintaining the impartiality. That's the supporting style. As a president, the engage with the diverse state leaders and communities, fostering inclusion and the dialogue. The high flexibility demonstrates situational leadership by balancing firms on the ethics issues with empathy for social realities. This is the I go to my next slide. This is the critical evaluation. However, this theory doesn't fully capture this constitutional and symbolic limits of her role, where leadership is often exercised through moral influence rather than a direct command. This is the three critical evaluation is showing here. There is the one is the Murmu exemplifies situational adaptability in politically and culturally diverse the context. Her leadership show that the context sensitivity and emotional integrance can sustain legitimacy in simple leadership roles. That's the limitation. The situational model simplifies complex political dynamics. Leaders like Murmu operate under institutional consumer where influence is often moral, not directive. This is the critical evaluation. Then the next slide, it will show explain my friend Abdul Rashid.
Thank you, Arshad. The leader-member exchange to theory help us understand how to Draupadi Murmu lead to through relation rather than authority. She concludes to build bridges between peoples, whether politicians for rival parties, other citizens from the different social backgrounds. Her leadership of inclusive and human-centered, reflecting high quality exchanges with those under her. Next slide. Critical evaluation. Critical evaluation about Draupadi Murmu. This even within for constantly for the presidential. She extended to moral influencer by fostering unit and mutual response, mutual respect. Sorry, and elegance perfectly when perfectly with the North House ambitious through to represent for LMS theory. I next slide is explain Eliezer.
Uh, yeah, competitive analysis Indra Nui versus Draupadi Mumu. So now let me compare Indra Nui and Draupadi Mumu and explain how their leadership style differ. Indra Nui works in a bigger global company, so her leadership is all about strategy and change. She thinks about the future. She brings new ideas and she inspires people with her vision. She used her skill and business and finance to move Pepsi and Co forward. She motivates people by showing a clear purpose. Draupadi Mumu, on the other hand, she works in a politics where things are more about people and relationship. She leads with empathy and she listens carefully and she connects the different communities. She adjusts her style depending on the situation, and she builds trust through kindness and respect. As a president, she focuses on unity and representing everyone fairly. So the main comparison is the Nui leads by changing the organization, Murmu leads by connecting with the people. They are both strong leaders, but their styles match their environment. Corporate leadership need vision and strategy, while political leadership needs empathy and connection. And coming to the next slide, the core difference in leadership. The core difference between these two leadership is really about how they influence others. Indira Nooyi leads through big ideas and she used their knowledge and experience to guide people. She focused on their future and how to grow, how to innovate, and how to improve the company. And her leadership is very action driven and change driven. Draupadi Mumu leads through leadership. She used empathy and understanding to bring people together. She focused on the unity, respect, and listening to the different voices. Her leadership is more about calmness, trust, and emotional intelligence. So, in this simple line, Nui leads the vision and strategy, while Murmu leads with empathy and connection. That is the core difference between them two. And coming to the conclusion part, to conclude, both Indra Nui and Draupadi Mumu show that there is no single way to be a good leader. It depends on the situation and environment. Indra Nui shows us that a leader can create huge positive change by using strong skill, a clear vision, and new ideas. She changed Pepsi and Co in a way that helped both businesses and society. Draupadi Mumu shows us that leadership can also be calm, humble, and deeply human. Even with limited political power, she built trust, represent communities, and bringing people together. Uh, what they both have in common in the intelligence, empathy, and the ability to inspire others. They remind us that leadership is not just about having powers. It's about using influence in the positive and ethical way. And that that brings me the end of my presentation. I would now like to briefly show how like references I used to work for this presentation, and these are the references I used. And here from my support research and analysis for the presentation. Thank you for listening us.